everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa Hart and this is Lisa Hart Fitness. This video is a really special one for me today because it marks the beginning of my postnatal fitness journey. I'm now 8 weeks postpartum and I've been cleared by my physician to exercise again, and I'm well into the 4th trimester. I'm starting to understand the cries that my little boy is giving. We're starting to adjust to becoming a family of 4. And it's just becoming a really exciting time and I'm starting to feel a bit more like myself again. Over the next few weeks I will be providing lots of postnatal recovery information and workouts just to help you along the early stages of your postnatal fitness journey. Exercise can be a daunting yet exciting process in the postpartum journey, but you need to make sure that it feels right for you to start exercise, and there are a few factors that you can consider before starting out an exercise program. Number 1 is the most important factor, and that's to make sure that you get physician's clearance before starting any exercise program. Now, the reason for this is that your postpartum journey will depend on a number of factors. One will be how you gave birth. If you gave birth vaginally, whether you had a C-section, that will affect the recovery time that you have before you can start exercise. If you gave birth vaginally, you can normally begin exercise 4 to 6 weeks postpartum. If you had a C-section, you may have to wait 6 to 8 weeks, depending on your physician and what they say for you and the parameters that they set. The other thing to consider is if there are any complications during your labour. So if you had perineal tearing, if you had complications vaginally, or if you had a C-section and maybe the surgery didn't go as according to plan, that can affect your recovery time and it can affect your postpartum journey moving forward. So make sure that you're listening to your physician before you start any fitness. I gave birth via C-section. It was my second C-section. I was asked to wait 8 weeks clearance, so I made sure that I did listen to my physician. You may feel like you are ready to start exercising because you're moving around so much. You're carrying, you're lifting a baby all the time. You may have a toddler like myself and you're chasing after them when they're running around. But you need to make sure that even though you're doing all these activities and you feel ready to exercise, you do need that clearance. And so that you are doing something safe for both your mental and your physical recovery. And so number 2 is to be mindful of Diastasis Recti. Now I have talked about this in our prenatal workouts and we'll be going into more depth in it on Friday. I'll be showing you how to look for Diastasis Recti and what to do depending on the level that you have of DR. Now remember, DR is the separation of the rectus abdominis, which can weaken that linea alba, that connective tissue that runs down the midline of your body. Now your DR will be completely different to someone else, and we're just being mindful of that separation of the abs and what happens to that connective tissue as a consequence. Number 3 is to make sure that you do wait for your bleeding to stop before engaging in exercise. Now the main reason for this is that exercise can actually increase the amount of bleeding that occurs. So if you start exercising too early and you're still passing blood, you may find that the blood that was reducing could actually then increase as a consequence of exercising. What it's actually showing you is that you are doing too much. So even if you're doing lots of walking, you may find that if you do too far, the level of blood that you produce is more than what you would do if you were walking around the house. We're trying to make sure that we're not increasing the amount of blood that we are losing and keeping mindful of that throughout the first few weeks of your postnatal journey. Number 4 is looking at your physical and mental state prior to starting an exercise program. And I would say this is the most influential factor that you're going to encompass in regard to actually beginning exercise. If you were to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, both physically and mentally, where would you place yourself in terms of starting exercise? And that will really help you to decide whether 1, you're ready to start exercising, and 2, the degree to which you should exercise. So physically there are a number of factors. If you have DR, you need to identify how much of DR you have, whether that actually influences whether you can or actually can't start an exercise program without the support of a physical therapist. Do you feel energized and ready to work out, or are the long nights and lack of sleep affecting you more than you actually thought they would do? If you have a baby that has reflux and colic, you may feel fatigued and exhausted throughout the day. Have you recovered well from birth, or did any complication arise that could be a barrier for you exercising? So did you have any perineal tearing? If you had a C-section, obviously that's going to take longer because that's massive abdominal surgery. There are a number of those factors that you need to make sure that you're taking into account, that you feel physically fit and healthy to work out again. If you rate low on a 1 to 10 scale on how physically fit you feel, I would say give it a couple of weeks rest before you start thinking of exercising again, and maybe do some ADLs instead. So focus more on walking more and increasing the amount that you're walking, maybe the distance, maybe the pace that you're doing slightly. It is not a problem to have a break. You have done a massive thing in giving birth and having that prenatal journey of 9 months of your body changing so rapidly. So giving yourself a couple of extra weeks just to get yourself physically ready is not going to cause any issue in your postnatal journey. As well as the physical aspect, you also have to think about your mental health in terms of exercising. And this can be both a curse and a blessing in disguise, because we know that physical activity can help to release stresses. It can help to release endorphins, which can actually benefit us mentally if we're suffering from post-baby blues or if we have a certain degree of postpartum depression. However, if you are not feeling in a well state, if you are feeling anxious and scared to leave your baby, and it is affecting you too much to then think about exercising, that's something you need to reevaluate. You need to either talk to your OB/GYN, you need to talk to the baby's paediatrician, seek outside help, talk to members of your family, just to have any form of support that will help you in your postnatal journey. If you're feeling those feelings and it's making you scared to do something that maybe you previously really enjoyed, you want to make sure that you're identifying how you can go forward. You don't want to get stuck in an awful space where you feel anxious and scared in order to work out. Most people will experience some form of postpartum baby blues. I myself have had days where I've cried. When you have a baby that screams all day, or you've got a toddler that refuses to do the things that they used to do, it is an awful lot to juggle. But if you are continuing to still feel negative and still have a lot of worries, a lot of anxiety, lack of sleep, please make sure that you do go and find some form of help. If you are content and you feel ready to engage in physical activity, remember that mentally you're not going to be taking up an awful lot of your day. So you have to just try and adjust your feelings that if you leave your baby for 10 minutes with your husband, with your partner, it doesn't matter. They're going to love you when you come back in 10 minutes, and you don't need to feel that you are letting them down by giving yourself time. Because if you actually allow yourself to have some time to focus on yourself, you will come back refreshed and you'll be really happy, and the baby will be happy to have a happy mother. So again, rate and evaluate. If you're low on that scale and the 1 is because you are feeling anxious and you're having issues with your sleep, etc., that's when you go and seek help. If you're about a 5 because you're not feeling quite ready, again, give it a couple of weeks to have a break, reevaluate, come back to it. And if you're feeling at a 10, then you know that you're ready to start exercising. So at whatever point you decide that you want to start exercising again, just remember that you have done something amazing and you've done something great. You have given birth to new life and you are being a #1 mum to your baby boy or your baby girl. So whenever you start exercising, it's completely on you, and that knowing that you actually are giving some time to yourself is making you an all-round brilliant person. So if you are ready, I'll be providing a workout on Wednesday. These are exercises that I'm going to be doing. I'm only going to be working out 3 times a week, 15 minutes max per session, so I'm not going to be overexerting myself, and also the moves that I'm going to be doing are very different to the prenatal exercises that I was doing in terms of the workout session. So a couple of things that we are going to be focusing on is our core recovery and just trying to re-establish a good bond with our bodies so that we feel confident in order to move forward with exercise. So thank you to everyone that continues to watch this channel. I will not be doing any prenatal workouts in the next few weeks because I want to make sure that I am re-establishing my own self in terms of my body before I engage in prenatal workouts again, but they will be coming out in the future, but just not as on a regular basis. So what I will be providing in the next few weeks is those postnatal recovery workouts. When I start to feel like I'm able to start engaging in normal exercise again, we will be starting beginner workouts and then building it up to our intermediate/advanced workouts. So if you are like me on the postnatal journey, 1, congratulations, and I really look forward to doing all the workouts with you. I really do hope that this content is helpful for you, and if it is, please make sure that you do give it the like, hit that subscribe button, and as always, I'll be seeing you again really soon. Bye for now.